Welcome everyone to an Unlocking Fun in Epic Battle Simulator 2. I'm going to be just putting strategies up against each other to see what's best. And I'm going to start off weak and get to a actually new strategy that I came up with. And starting off here on the red side, this might look slightly familiar. And that's because this is the last level of the levels, just set to the tone of 5,000 instead of the 10,600 or so that it actually uses. So it uses a bit more troops. I think it's 10 musketeers, 10 shields, 3 elephants. Basically everything's doubled. But this is the basic setup for it if you bring it down to 5,000 for online. And then this is the strategy I like to use most of the time for people who are below 1,000. Just a random line of spears up front, then a random line of axes right behind them, and then 2 lines of crossbowmen to fill out the rest behind the axes. Now let's see if that strategy can beat the reduced final level strategy. What the heck were my spearmen doing? The mages did some mind tricks on them. Attack your crossbowmen! I will attack my crossbowmen. Crossbowmen are like, wait, what? I didn't sign up for this. Buck. Buck. Knock it off. Alright, so 1. My blue strategy there, the one I used the most against the newbies, or the weaklings, whatever. Come on, get in here. Get in here. Go on. You want to keep barking, get in there. Won't stop being a brat. Go. Knock it off. People are trying to sleep. Dickhead. Alright. Now, let's put that strategy up against a better strategy. I'm not going to go over all the weak strategies, just those 2. So this is my main strategy for the slightly better weaklings, or low ranks. They're not really weaklings, because I was the same exact way when I was their rank, so it's quite easy to take advantage of that with this strategy right here. Y'all have seen it already. And then this is how I set up the other strategy. Random line. That time it was even. Usually it's not. There we go. And then crossbowmen. Let's see which strategy will win. Obviously the cavalry will win because real strategies have cavalry. And it's needed because while the crossbowmen aren't shooting at my crossbowmen, they'll be shooting away from my armies, which makes them vulnerable and means that their damage is going elsewhere. And as expected, the weaker strategy, or the spearman, axe, and crossbowman strategy, got completely annihilated. So now let's put that main strategy down again and see what happens when you put down more cavalry for an opposing strategy. of course. Get some defense, only 5 spearmen, and we got 20 cavalry units. And then only a handful, basically a handful of crossbowmen. It's a handful compared to what I'm using. Let's see if more cavalry can beat it. Well, the more cavalry can actually be very useful, especially for people who are using more ranged troops, because of course, if their ranged troops are pointed not at your main army, then that leaves them quite vulnerable. Right now, the cavalry is pretty even, and the cavalry strategy is depleted. So against my main strategy, the cavalry strategy is not very good, but it can be good. And now I'm going to show you a strategy that can beat this strategy. And of course it's going to use pirates, because the pirates' bullets pierce which means they can hit multiple targets at once. And the pirates' bullets do more damage than the crossbowmen have health. So one bullet can kill multiple crossbowmen, which is bad news for the crossbowmen. This strategy is going to have a good amount of cavalry as well, not as much. Whoops. There we go. Alright. The pirates have drastically less amount of troops than the crossbowmen because they cost 3 times as much as crossbowmen. Well, dang. Looks like I was wrong about the pirate strategy. Well, let's continue forth. And here's a strategy that I recently took from somebody because I was surprised at how well it did and how simple it is. put down my strategy in the red again. And then I'll explain the other strategy. Because it's so simple. It won't take long. Okay. So they start their strategy off with musketeers. They do a line kind of down the middle of 19. And then behind that is a line of crossbowmen, a line of 20 crossbowmen. So you should have 39 troops by the end of laying down the crossbowmen. Alright, and then you fill out the rest with 2 lines of spearmen. So one line in front of the troops, and then one line behind your ranged troops. Alright. Now the musketeers' bullets also pierce just like the pirates. Musketeers also cost less than pirates, and their bullets do a bit more damage than the pirates. The thing with pirates, though, is they have a lot more health than musketeers. Man, my strategy's just annihilating all these strategies right now. I'm finding that weird. Does red team have an automatic advantage over anyone? I don't know. I tested that strategy a couple times and it was able to beat my strategy. So I don't even know. Epic Battle Simulator, it's all about luck. It's not though. Alright. We're also going to try out another of someone else's strategy. This is Daiko92's favorite strategy, or favorite setup. He switches it up every time. Daiko92, you might also know him as number 1. He is the guy who likes to spend most of his time down in the negatives in the rank numbers. And then he climbs the ranks whenever he feels like it to 1000 and then back down to the negatives. He's weird. Very weird. And then here's the strategy. Okay. So it changes. Sometimes there's no musketeers. Sometimes there's a lot more spearmen. Sometimes there's no ballistas. It just depends on what he feels like and what he thinks your strategy is going to be like. He always waits until the last few seconds to lay down his strategy. If you're someone who's in the high ranks, like myself. And this is one of the cases where my strategy actually wins over his strategy, but his strategy's okay. Alright, and the third strategy that I stole from someone, the third and final strategy, it's one that I don't use often. And there's other ones that I just don't use at all anymore. But this one is kind of similar to the last strategy, where you put spearmen and pirates and ballistas in the back, but it's not in one of the corners in the back. And there are more ballistas than Daiko 92 would put down. And here it goes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 8 to fill out the rest. Alright. And that's that strategy. Let's see how it does against my main strategy. The pirates doing their jobs of giving some backup defense. But the musketeers and ballistas can't shoot fast enough to keep up with the crossbowmen. So they lose. Alright, now I'm going to do some more of my strategies, and they're basically just updates of old strategies. I'm not going to do the one where I just switch around the positioning of my units, because that's all it is, really. Instead of having 3 Vs for spearmen, I do 5 lines of 3 and kind of stagger them. And you'll kind of see this the shape right here. So this is the basic shape right here. So I'm only putting down a handful of pirates because they have a lot of defense and they can pierce, and it gives me, the strategy just gives me room to throw in the pirates and balance out the crossbowmen to pirate to spearmen to cavalry ratio. And it works pretty well against some of the higher rank people. It doesn't seem to be working so well against this strategy, though. But for some reason, the higher rank people, their strategies are usually really good at defeating my main strategy. Or at least some of them. Now I'm going to throw down the strategy I like to use most of the time against the higher ranked people. Epic Battle Simulator 2 games has fought this strategy at least once. And it's not too often I put it up against my own strategy, my main strategy. And then after this, I'll show you guys my newest strategy. Alright. Got a bit more pirates. Everything is set back. This strategy is good against people who use bombs or ballistas, heavy stuff like that, which a lot of the higher ranked people like to use. The pirates pretty much annihilate the bombs and ballistas right off the bat. And I sustain very little damage to my army. And it should be good against my main strategy as well, because the pirates should be able to penetrate and destroy a lot of the crossbowmen, but it's not going to work every time. As you can see, it did not work this time. My main strategy is just too damn good. Alright, and the next strategy I'm showing you is an update to my main strategy, and I tested it against all the strategies I just tested against the main strategy, and I tested it against the main strategy, and it was winning. So let's take a look. Oh, by the way, I'm using a different recording app because, reasons. If you want me to get into the reasons, I mean, this is like the 4th recording app I've gone through, and actually it's the best that I have so far. It doesn't record live for YouTube. I can't do that yet. I have to get enough subscribers and whatnot. And it took a while for YouTube to figure that out, that I was kind of cheating the system, but it finally figured it out, and I wasn't able to use my streaming devices anymore. So I'm recording a video, and then I'll have to download it like I just normally do. For all my other videos that I play in the Xbox. Alright. Now, this strategy is set up just like my main strategy right now, except for the spearmen, which are set up in the 5 columns, or 5 rows, however you want to look at it. And then I put down 2 pirates. Actually, this pirate needs to move. And then I put down 8 musketeers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that. And then I fill in the rest with crossbowman. Alright. Let's see how it does this time. So it looks like it's doing pretty well so far. Everything looks pretty even. And it looks like my main strategy is coming back hard. I don't even know anymore. I really don't. What's going on with this freaking app? I mean, game. Call it an app. This goddamn game. I don't even know. It's making me doubt myself and making me look like a goddamn idiot in my recordings. Oh boy. Well, those are a bunch of strategies that you can work off of to make your own strategies better. I don't even want to say test your strategies anymore because obviously I don't even know why I bothered at this point. I thought pretty much all of the strategies that I put against my main strategy would have been able to beat my main strategy, but they didn't. So I just look like a fool. Whatever. We'll see you guys on the battlefield. See you next time. Bye.